Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of A Drummer's Guide to... I wanted to talk today about websites because recently, in the last sort of 3 or 4 months, I've had quite a few situations where people have been asking me to recommend like musicians and stuff for gigs or for recordings, and I've been like, yeah, great, fine. They'll sort of give me a brief of the kind of musician that they want, and I will put together a list of people that I think are appropriate. And what that will involve for me is just going through my phone book and sort of writing in drummer or guitarist or whatever. And I've got all the musicians that I know, I have their instruments saved with their names. So I'll put down a list. Oh, they'll be good. So I'll write down this list. Right, okay, now I need to find something to show people. So I'll look up their website, or lack thereof. This is what I'm realising. The amount of musicians that don't have a website is shocking, like absolutely shocking. I recently got asked to do to put together some musicians for a new artist that's coming out in a couple of months, and one of the guys who I was like, this guy will be perfect guitarist, perfect sort of image, vibe, like the whole thing. I was like, they'll be great. First off, no website. The closest I could get was a Twitter feed, which he hadn't posted on for like 2 years. And not only that, it was complete ramblings that he'd put on there. So there were like no images of him playing. There were no, decent sort of like, oh, watch this video of me playing or anything like that. And of course, even if there was, the chances that that's going to be at the top of their feed, unless they've pinned the tweet, is going to be minimal. And by the time that whoever's putting together this band goes and has a look at their Twitter, they might have put up some picture of them like wasted or something, just something not very professional. And adding to that, when you get to have like a link or whatever in your bio, no link, no nothing, like no way to contact them, because at this current moment on Twitter, to get in touch with someone, you have to be following each other to direct message, so you can only tweet at them and do all that sort of stuff, which when someone hasn't been on Twitter for 2 years, it's probably telling me that they just don't do Twitter anymore. So anyway, that's my rant over. It was so frustrating, and it was quite embarrassing having to put together these names and just going, oh, here's la 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 la, they're really great. Sorry, they don't have a website. They have a Twitter. I don't even have an email address for them, so here's their number, and you just are going to have to trust me on this sort of thing, which is fine, but, it puts me in an awkward position, puts them in an awkward position. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about is, with that being said, is the reasons to have a website. Well, I've just told you the reasons to have a website. I want to talk about what to have on your website. You don't need some flashy thing. It can just be quite a simple thing that sort of like has a certain amount of points to cover. And that's it really. So let's start off. So the first thing that you're going to need on your website obviously is like start off with some sort of striking image of you playing your instrument. On my website, emilydolandavis.com, it is a picture of me playing the drums and smiling. And I think that's quite a good representation of me, because I smile a lot when I play. So, consequently, maybe, say, Nine Inch Nails wouldn't get in touch, although that would be great if they did. But, it's just that's who I am. I can't really... Well, I can change that, but I choose to be a positive sort of energy giver, player, whatever. So yeah, a striking image is good. Great first impression, like, wow, okay, get people intrigued, fine. The next thing to have, I think, and my thought on this has changed over the years, but at the moment, I think it's the best thing to have as your first initial thing, and that is a video or a series of videos of you playing. And I'm not talking about videos that someone has videoed from some gig that you've done, and it might be in a huge venue but the sound quality is like awful, and the picture's all fuzzy, and you're on stage with 7 other people and it's like, well, which one are you? I wouldn't suggest having that as your lead video necessarily. What I actually ended up doing was finding a bunch of different bits of footage from different artists that I've played with, and then creating another video which is a compilation of those things with a piece of music over the top that's very heavily drum based that I sort of wrote over the top of it, just to show this is me, this is how I play, these are the artists that I've played with, and then if they're still interested they can go down, and then there's more videos, things like the Foo Fighters Best of You video, which is me playing in the fairy lights, and then I think there's a video of me playing with the darkness, and what else is on there? I can't even remember. Yeah, anyway, there's a few different videos, but that initial one is, here I am, this is me, these are the people I've played with, come and find out more. Basically, that's the vibe I'm going for. I'd like to think it works. I guess it does, because some people are calling me. Some aren't, obviously, but I wouldn't know that because they haven't called me. So yeah, so that's a really good starting point. If you don't have any live videos of you playing, I would suggest doing exactly what I did, however many years ago it was, and that was recording that cover video of Foo Fighters Best of You. Yes, it's not ideal, and even the video that I recorded, I did this on purpose, but it's very lo-fi. It's one microphone. In fact, I can show you exactly what the microphone. It was this Zoom microphone, H2N. It's years and years old. I still use it, but it was basically that. I think it was placed like under the floor tom or something. So it's a shoddy sound, but the reason I did that was that I didn't want people to think that the video had been doctored, or, you know, I just wanted it to be raw, and there are mistakes on that video. It's not perfect, not by a long way, but I needed to just go, I need to show that I'm human, but this is what I do, sort of thing. So I think it worked. Like I say, I've had jobs from that video, like 100% people have booked me because of that video, so it obviously works in some capacity. So yeah, so I would suggest, if you don't have any live footage that is decent enough, that you're not happy with, you're not happy how you're putting yourself out there, take it into your own hands and do something. And whether that's recording it in just like a rehearsal room that you've rented and just make it as best you can. If you want to go down the super professional route, go do that as well. Just do what you feel is best. Just go with your gut and be brave with it. I was terrified. I was like, this can be awful. Everyone's going to hate it. Everyone's going to be criticising me. It's going to be terrible. And actually the complete reverse happened. And yes, I got a few comments. Why are you playing drums looking like a Christmas tree? Oh, sorry. Gosh, I didn't realise that could be so offensive. Oh, jeez. So yeah, just go do it. Own it. You can always do others. Hey, it's no big deal. Like, it's not the end of the world, it really isn't. So that's a great first sort of thing. So you've got your image, you've got your videos. Next thing I would have, it's either one of these two things. I'd probably have like some sort of audio playlist, and this can be, well, it's best, I guess. I guess you'd call it a discography. So anything that you've played on, recorded on, and it doesn't have to be big artists, it can be independent artists, it doesn't really matter, as long as it gives a good representation of you playing, and also, yeah, as long as it just sounds good, basically, like the overall production, as long as it's not, you know, one microphone in a rehearsal room, which you wouldn't just, yeah, I wouldn't go for that unless it sounds supremely incredible, which I guess is possible. I've never heard of recording like that. I've heard plenty of awful ones. So yeah, so don't worry if like they're not named people or anything, because people are there just to listen to the actual audio. They couldn't care less whether you're playing with Beyonce or Billy Bob down the road in the pub, as long as it sounds good and people can hear how you're playing. So that's a good one. The third thing to have, or the fourth thing to have on there, I guess, is photos. Now, photos are an annoying thing because in my world, in my perfect head, I just think it shouldn't matter what I look like, and that should be no bearing on whether I get a job or not. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is, especially if you're getting put forward for TV things, which are generally mimed, which means you're not playing on them live, you're just miming along to something that's already been played. So actually, the image thing is everything. Now, obviously, the videos will help that because it shows how you're playing. Like, you know, you're not a timid player, so if they want a very chilled out, they may not go for you, but, you know, if you can showcase a few different vibes, that's really good. But yeah, things like any TV things, the first thing they ask you for is a headshot, really. It's just the reality of it. You just got to go with it, make the best of it. Have like a headshot where you can actually see your face, and maybe some sort of full length. I don't think I even have a full length. Oh no, actually I do have a full length, but it's in the context of drums, I guess. And then maybe some really cool like live shots if you have any. And again, even if you don't have any of these things, just rent a room, if you don't have your own room, put a kit in it and just play and perform and have a video, a camera with a time-lapse setting, which you can have on your phone, because phones these days are amazing with their quality, and just set it going. I used to do this, so when I recorded any YouTube videos, I would do the recording bits, set up the cameras, do the thing, go, right, yeah, I'm happy enough with that, that's fine, I can edit it and take it away, blah, blah, blah. And then for about an hour after that, I would do my own like photo shoot, which would involve me taking a camera, setting it up on a tripod or balancing it on something really precarious. And it didn't have a time-lapse feature, but it did have a timer, like a self-timer, you know, when it's like, right, I'm gonna take a group photo, right, put on the timer, run into place. I basically did that for, it must have been longer than an hour thinking about it. But anyway, what I would do that. I would go, right, go, I've got 5 seconds. I'd run behind my kit and I'd like strike a pose or start playing, or, you know, just work out something that's gonna look cool. And then I'd go back and then I'd look at it and I'd go, oh yeah, actually the angle's good, so let me try something different. That gets a bit blurry like that, so maybe if I just hold the pose but then trying to tense the muscles in the same way that you would when you're playing, maybe that would look good. And you know, I would do this and I would end up with like hundreds of photos, and out of those I'd maybe get 1 or 2 that were decent, you know. But that made up a lot of my photo portfolio, I guess, for many years, until, you know, you're doing gigs where there's proper photographers with really nice cameras and they actually know what they're doing, and then that's really nice, because then there's a nice surprise when you go, oh, there's a nice photo there, lovely, can I use that please, I'll credit you, I promise. So I think get some photos, again, not really an excuse for that. What is the next thing? The next thing I guess would be some sort of short bio. This is where you can just tell people a tiny bit about your background maybe, and then list some skills that you can bring to a gig. So obviously, drummer for 20 years, this is my personal one, so I can do programming, and then I'll list like Ableton, Logic, HD24, QLab, all that sort of stuff. I can also do electronics. I use Yamaha, I use MPC, Akai stuff, and Mainstage, yeah, and Ableton, I guess, with the programming as well. Also, sorry, with the electronics. Also, I do backing vocals, not very well, but I can do them. Yeah, and just list exactly the kind of, like, if you play another instrument, put that down 100%. I mean, I can't tell you how much labels and managers and artists love, like, a drummer that can play guitar as well, or keys. I mean, that is just like gold dust to them. Oh, put down if you play percussion as well, because that's the whole thing. The final and most important thing that you need on a website is a contact page. Now, you can have the greatest website in all the world, but if you don't have a contact page, it means nothing, because they just, they're going to send out some sort of carrier pigeon or get hold of some sort of like clairvoyant and just sort of say, oh, would you find this person to, you know, I need them for my gig now. So make sure you have a contact page. That can be either just an email address, you know, if just a contact, emily@emilydolandavis.com. You can have a actual form that you can send out, that people can fill in, then that gets sent to you. If you don't want to put your email address publicly online, which I didn't do for years, and now I've kind of just gotten over it. And yes, I get a lot of spam, but hey, it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of life. It's not that big a deal. So yes, please do all this work, and please then put a contact page on your website. Otherwise, pointless, absolutely pointless. So I think that kind of covers everything. I wanted to talk about as well, like what platform to kind of use to create your websites, because I've been doing my own website since I was about 14, I think, and I used to do it using like literally basic HTML, and I used to use Fetch, I think it was, to host it. I didn't really understand how it worked back then, so I was like, I just asked my dad, and he was like, right, so what you need Fetch, and you need to upload it, and you need to, I don't even remember to this day what exactly I did, but yeah, so I started out and it was basic. It was proper like HTML 1.0, it was awful, but hey, it was the beginning of my learning how to do websites. And now I've sort of like progressed over the years. I started using WordPress.com, which was really great. If you have basic sort of web knowledge, you don't really need to know any HTML even. It's a great way, using their free themes and all of that. It's a great way to start. I'd suggest getting your own domain name if you can. It's not free, but it's also not expensive. I think I pay $12 a year for mine, which is, I mean, that's nothing really, but I think it makes a huge difference. And then later on I've started using WordPress.org, which you have a lot more capability, a lot more control over what happens, and you can add in random plugins, and there's all sorts of stuff. But if you start out with some sort of free site like WordPress, I know a lot of people use Wix apparently. I used to use Wix for like all of a week, and at the time it was still very new, and it didn't work very well with Mac, so I was like, this is getting really frustrating, and I don't feel I can manipulate it in the way I want to, so I moved on. But I hear Wix these days is really good. I think people are still using Squarespace maybe as well. But yeah, just find something that sort of works for you, that kind of makes sense to you and doesn't frustrate you. My websites, I have many of them. I am constantly trying to refine them, update them, make them as good as I can, especially the newest one, A Drummer's Guide 2, is the one that I'm daily sort of looking at, just going, this is rubbish. This is just I need to make this better. It looks so lame, it looks so amateur, so yeah, every day I'm trying to make that a little bit better. I'm a lot happier with the EmilyDolanDavis.com and EmilyDrums.com, but yeah, the newest one needs some work. But again, it's a constant thing. It's a great thing to do in January. That's usually what my January is filled with. It's like, right, nobody's asking for me for any gigs because nobody really works in January in the music industry, really. They do a little bit, and in saying that, I've just been booked for January, so that's probably not true. But so usually it has been January is my revamping the website month and reaching out to people and connecting with people and hanging out. So yeah, it's really good. Anyway, I shall stop going on about this, but if you don't have a website, please get one. I want to recommend you for work, and I need somewhere to show people what you do the best that you can and how you would like to represent yourself, so please do this. It will save people so much effort and time, and yeah, like, you don't want to be awkward to get hold of. Like, it's hard enough being called for a gig, don't make it harder to then even like find out about you or to get the call. So yeah, just please do it. Thanks. Anyway, I shall be doing another Facebook Live tonight. In fact, I'll put in the comments what time, just in case it's changed. I don't want to sort of rope myself down in case I'm sort of on a plane at that time or doing a gig or something. So look out in the comments to see what time I'll be doing some sort of live stream. And yeah, hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. I hope you've got an awesome week ahead of you, and join me next time for another one of these. What is the next one? Yes, so the next one is techniques that I've used to leverage learning quickly, and that's been sometimes it's been my choice, and a lot of the times it hasn't been my choice, and I've just had to deal with it, and it's about rising to the occasion, I guess. So that'll be out next Monday, so I will see you then for that, and yeah, I'll speak to you guys soon. Right, see you later. Bye.